My name is Eke Adetunji. I'm the founder of Ceasar Graphix and Ceasar Graphix Academy. So I'm going to be your host today, and I welcome you specially to my graphic design mentorship training. Here I have a design from one of my students that I'm going to be explaining the area he needs to improve as a creative person. Before I get to the focusing on the area it needs to improve, I need every one of you to know that graphic design is about us informing the audience. All right. And how we do this, well, is the use of putting the design elements together to convey a message in a still format. All right. When I say still format, I mean something that is unmoving. Okay. And we do this in a way that so it will be easier for the audience to quickly get the message. Part of how we do this well is when we fully understand the message. And then also we make sure that we allow the design principles to play on our design. All right. Now, aside from you using the design element to create the picture of the project, there's a part of you allowing the design principles to come to play to make them occur on your project. All right, so I'm going to stop here on this and I'm going to go straight to the purpose of today's meeting. So these are the designs that I received from Toner, and I have 1, 2, and 3. So this 1 and 2 here are similar project. I believe it's from the same brand because I can see the logo of the brand here. All right. And so I have this third design here. So I actually asked him to send me 2 of his design, and I like the fact that he sent me 3 because these 2 also share, they have similar issue. All right. Its composition is beautiful. I like the fact that it's always allowing room for white space, and I can easily see his content. But the part where I think is not really doing well here is the part of projecting the illustration on his design, because if you look at the 2 designs we have here, you notice that his illustration are hidden. Here, I notice the use of illustration here is not balanced, but here, the projecting of the item on his design is what I think is not doing well here. And I know so many creatives also fight with the same, thing. All right. So let me quickly teach you how to do this. All right. So the illustration, all right, that you're using on your project is also part of your project. I know so many of you already know that, but you don't really understand the deeper part of this. All right. Now, when I say it's also part of the project, the content on the illustration, the color, the details on the illustration is also part of the project. All right. So if I'm to work on this project from Toner here, and I really want to make this more interesting, like make it draw attention the more, I'm not going to use a dark background here because my illustration here is already looking dark. All right. Like we have the food in the bowl with a tray, and the color of these items are black. So me placing the image on a darker background is going to hide the illustration. There's something called contrast among the principles of design. In fact, the contrast is the most important principles of design. So whenever you're placing elements on your project and you're trying to use a particular illustration to draw attention, place that element on a color that is opposite the color of that illustration. Why? Because the illustration is what draws people's attention to want to read every other information on a project, not especially when it comes to designing of food poster. Our job is to project the food so it draws attention fast. It draws people's attention to make them want to know where to get the food. Whenever we're asked to work on food project, what the client is looking for from us is to create a project that will make the mouth of the target audience watery, like make them want to eat, make them go hungry, make their bellies start making sound. That sound from the belly that make, you know what I mean? That's what they are looking for. And you can achieve this well when you hide the goal of the project. So my advice to Toner here is whenever you are working on design projects, you are planning to project the illustration, please use the color that is opposite the color of the illustration. Now listen guys, because I need you to catch what I'm about to say now. There are times where you now still need to use the same color from the illustration as your background. Now how you are now going to separate the background from the illustration is changing the value of the background. Do not allow the background to share similar value. I'm talking of the brightness now. Never allow it to have similar value with the color on the illustration. I believe you guys are getting what I'm saying. All right. So that's one area I think Toner needs to work on here. And then the other thing I think he also needs to work on is, you see, Toner, design is not about you making people feel, okay, I did something. All right. No, that's not design. Design is not about you making people feel, oh, yeah, I want them to know that, yes, I did something. Or, okay, let me just quickly share this short story with you. And I know so many of you also are going through the same thing. I remember when I started charging high for my designs, whenever a client pay me huge amount of money, I always apply so many things to make the client feel, see, you are not wasting your money. I want you to know that your money reflects on this design. Then I'll now start looking for elements that, you know, would make the project look as if, yes, there's money on this project. See, the most expensive project, the project that pays well, are the simple projects. They are the projects that carry information that are necessary for the projects. I noticed that Sona is trying to make the smoke here form this heart shape, but the way he did it here is not really okay. And I'll tell you why. You see this light thing here, this light here, all right, that you have at the center of the heart shape here is not necessary. No, it's not necessary. You don't need to put that because it's confusing. It's confusing. And I want to quickly say this to you guys, that whenever you're working on design project, guys, put yourself in the shoe of the audience. Because I know if I asked Toner why we have this light here, I'm sure you can't defend this. All right. I'm sure Toner will never defend it. So whenever you're working on design project, all right, never put anything on the project because, okay, you feel, oh, man, that client paid me well, and I must show the client that, yes, your money is actually working here. No. All right. So this is not necessary. It's not compulsory you make the project full. All right. If nothing comes to your mind to add to the project, please let the project just remain like that. And part of how you can become a good creative person is don't care about what other creatives are doing. Don't care about, okay, if it was Ceasar that was asked to work on this project, it would have spiced it up to make it look more richer than this. Don't stop saying that. Start saying, if it's Toner that is asked to work on this project, he's going to do it in a way that he believes is best for the client. Selah. That's how you grow as a creative person. Never think of what other people are doing. Focus on what you can do. The more you do that, the better you are going to become. Because there's this creativity part of you, that this unique part of you that you carry. So you focusing on other people's doings, like what other people are doing, is going to drag you down. You know, it's going to trap you. This is a very beautiful project, but the wanting to make it look like, man, Toner has arrived, I must let these people know that, yes, I'm a bad designer, is what made you use what is not necessary here. You know, I like the fact that you decided to try to make the smoke, you know, form the heart shape. All right, it's nice, but the light effect is not necessary. So I hope you get my message on. I know there are still going to be some other things I am going to notice on your, that I know that you may still be fighting with, but right now what I think you need to work on here is, please focus on your illustration. All right, your illustration is very key. So try to see how you can create a background that is opposite. All right, that the color is opposite the color on your illustration. And what there's another thing you did beautifully here. All right, there's something you did here that covered that part of using of dull colors on your project, which is, the way you create all this fun around your title here. It made the project look lively, it made it look playful, it made it look happy. All right. And that's another thing I want you guys to know. Your title, the way you play with your title most time is how you evoke emotion in design. Is how you create this feeling of making people know what the goal of the project is. And anytime you're working on design project that is connected to food, food is not a bad thing. So you need to project that fun thing, that happy feel on the project. That's another way you get people involved and looking at your design project. So good job here from Tona. Then yeah, so when I received this design from Tona was telling me that the illustration used here, that it feels the illustration is not really strong, all right, for the project. And yeah, I agree with him. I like this. I like the first. I want to just say this again. Tona is good at using white space. I like the fact that he's always allowing his content to breathe. Look at this. Look at the way he allowed, space here, and also we have this space here, and there's enough space for this. There's enough space for this. Look at that. If I'm asked to work on this project, all right, the illustration I'm going to use here is going to be staff. Why? Because most time, whenever you're working on this church projects, all right, and you are trying to do photo manipulation, you should not abuse it. All right. I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel that explain the type of photo manipulation that we designers must always do. When we don't do the right thing, all right, when we don't use the right photo, when we don't create the right photo manipulation, is not different from us abusing it. On a good day, it's not possible for human to carry the globe, the world, like the globe on your hand. Whenever you're working on church projects or church designs, your photo manipulation should be closer to what people know. For this type of project, the right illustration that I believe would have worked here is something closer to being a leader. All right, something that depicts leadership. All right, something that depicts leadership. And I know there are so many illustrations you can use that is closer to leadership, but there's a particular one I'm going to use if I'm asked to work on this project. But before I show you guys the illustration I'm going to use here, when I received this artwork from Tona, I went as far as going to look for the meaning of the word steward. And the meaning, the definition I got here is a person employed to look after the passenger. In fact, this part where we have look after here is enough for me to know the right illustration to use. So after taking my time to look at where we have people looking after other people in the Bible, I realized that there's a particular tool that the people who look after other people always use. They always hold on their hand. And that tool is called staff. All right? It's called staff. And this is it here. Another good reason why this illustration is good for, project like this is, I'm sure the meeting is about training people how to be good steward, because if you're the steward, you have to be a leader. And for you to be a leader, you have to have this power to control, power to rule in you. And this here, all right, this tool here it depicts power. It depicts control, because if you notice, all right, in the Bible, you will realize that the people that make use of this tool here are the people who use it to tell people the right way to go. They use it to direct people on what to do, and so on. And also, if you check it very well, you notice that even the people that use it in this part of the world that we are in, they use it to control animals, to direct them to where they can feed and not go the wrong way. And the reason why I'm using this tool again here is because it's a church project. All right. It's a church project. And so if you're going to use any tool for the title on your project, for me, I believe it's good if you connect the title to the Bible, since you're working on a church project. And that's the reason why I decided to use this stuff. I wish I can quickly redesign this, but because of time, I'm not going to be able to do that because I don't want this tutorial to spend forever. Lastly, I want to quickly share this, let every one of you know this, that design is not hard. All right. What will help you know the right illustration to use on your project is you taking your time to understand the background of the project. There's a task, all right, that you are supposed to accomplish whenever you are asked to work on design projects. And that task is to inform the people. All right. Now, how you now inform the people is you using the right illustration to draw their attention to now read the information on the project. Remember to hit the subscribe button. And for those of you who are my new subscribers, thank you for hitting the subscribe button. I'm sure and I pray that I am not going to disappoint you. The purpose of subscribing to my channel, I pray to be accomplished. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.